Good morning, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Before this start, let me get it confirmed. Okay, thank you. So there are almost nearly 40 students available here, 38. So we'll be going through for a short while a quick revision about what we have learned yesterday. And based on that, we'll progress for the third normal form and then BCNF and then the last topic within this particular chapter, this unit. So I hope the screen is also visible to you all. So yesterday we discussed about what is normalization, and we came to a conclusion that normalization is a process in which we try to restructure the database tables. The reason for restructuring of the database tables is eliminate redundant data and to reduce complexity. So, since normalization is a process of restructuring of tables to eliminate the redundant data and to eliminate the complexities, what we'll try to do in this restructuring is we'll try to see certain criteria. If those criteria are not being matched, then we'll restructure the table. If those criteria are matching, then we will not restructure the table. So we have seen there are four characteristics that we like to have to call a table, database table, as a normalized database table. These four characteristics were the first one being whatever values we are trying to have, those values should be scalar in nature. Scalar in nature in the sense, one cell, a table will be built up of multiple cells, right? Rows and columns. Now in one cell, there should be only one single value, that is scalar value. If there are multiple values, then the table need to be normalized. Second characteristics that it should have is there should be absence of redundancy. Absence of redundancy in the sense there should not be any piece of information being saved into multiple tables. Okay. When I say any piece of information, the same piece should not be there on multiple tables. For example, student number is there. Students table is there, students personal data, result data. Now in this one, suppose the pin number, name, then the age of the student, then the class in which the student is there, then it's these five details are set. In the results, student pin number, name, marks 1 to marks 6, then total, then average is being set. So this personal data is separate, result data is separate. Now when I am trying to see these two, I was having pin number here also. Name in this part, name in this particular table also. So this name and pin number were getting stored twice. Should it be stored twice? Can it be reduced? We have to analyze this to make sure that least amount of data is being saved in the database. That process of trying to normalize the table, trying to eliminate the redundancy is called as normalization. Okay, so whenever we want to say that we have to normalize the table or not to normalize the table, we have to consider these four characteristics. The four characteristics were, first one, all the cells should have the scalar values. Second is, it should not have any redundancy in them. Third, there should be minimal null values. Null values means those values which are not specifically entered. For example, the student's age is there. Some students doesn't want to reveal their age. So that column may be left empty for that particular student. So those missing values will be replaced with a keyword called as null. This is the same asset of your C++ null. You had over there null, right, in ULL. Almost the same. Since data cannot be left empty, it will be replaced with a dummy value called as null, whose value is incomparable to other values. The last characteristics that should be there is if I am trying to split the data, if I am trying to remove, for example, here I was having the problem that pin number was here, pin number was there in this table also. Name was there in the first table, name was also there in the second table. Now I am thinking that why twice name and pin number should be there in both the tables. Since from the result table, let me eliminate name and pin number. So what will be left? Marks 1 to mark 6, total and average. But can I get to know if I look at this particular table only, second table only, can I get to know whose result is that? The values are there definitely, but can I understand or interpret whose values are those? No. So that is loss of information. I remove these two columns, right? Thinking it is redundancy. So if I am trying to remove them, restructure them, then I should make sure that there should be minimal loss of data. For example, if I keep pin number and if I eliminate the name, will there be huge loss of data? No, because I can still get to know what is the pin number, and for this pin number, this was the result. So whenever we are restructuring, we should make sure that there should be minimum loss of data. So what are the four characteristics based on which normalization technique is determined whether to be normalized or not to be normalized? First one, the table should have all scalar values. Second, it should have absence of redundancy. Third, it should have minimal null values, usage of null values. Fourth, it should have minimal loss of information. Next, since normalization restructuring of tables are required, various authors or scientists have proposed various criteria based on which the normalization technique is being applied. These are called as levels of normalizations. So basically, there are almost 7 to 8 levels of normalizations. Those criteria are such that if I want to go for the fourth normalization level, I have to cross the first normalization level, second normalization level, and third normalization level. Some of the authors they have just listed them as first, second, third, but some has given their own naming to it. For example, Boy Scott was the author who has given this name to this normal form. Another one, these have not used their author name, they have actually gone for what is the concept behind the normalization for this particular criteria. So, like that, many authors have defined their own uh, labelings to these normal forms. These are standard ones which we need to remember. So, in case of first normal form, go on applying the first normal form, one table will be split into multiple 2 or 3 tables based on the requirement. Now, if I go for second normal form, those 2 tables will be further split or restructured into 4 tables. Like that, as I go on increasing that particular levels, the number of tables will get increased. When I'm telling that number of tables will get increased, my priority was to eliminate the redundancy, right? To some extent, redundancy gets decreased as we go on applying the normalizations. The number of tables gets increased. Thereby, when the number of tables gets increased, complexity also gets increased. Complexity of computations, complexity of storage management will also get increased. So that's why we'll not go for the last level of normalization. We'll try to make sure that only a limited amount of normalization is applied, which we say third normal form is good enough. But if required, a company can go for Boy's Code normal form also. So a diagrammatic overview of normalization is also depicted in these circles. In some of the textbooks, it has been given like this. So what was the first normal form? First normal form states that if a table is to be there in first form is to satisfy the first normal form criteria, then all the fields of the table should contain only scalar values in any list of values. The concept was here in the author name, you were able to see that there are three authors list, which is a list. This is only one single field, one single cell value, right? So it should contain only one single value. It should not contain a list of values. So if a table is there which is containing a list of values in one single cell, then the table is not there in first normal form. To decompose it, what we have done is we have taken out those columns which were having a list of values as a separate table. So we have kept it as separate table. Not to show that this table and this table are actually a part of one single information only, they were actually a part of one single table only, they are related. We'll copy the primary key of this original table back to the newly created table. Thereby, there will be a linkage between these two. So that was the concept. Now coming on for the second normal form, third normal form, we have seen a concept called as functional dependency coming into picture. Functional dependency means one of the attribute or a set of attributes are dependent on another set of attributes. Then the first set of attributes are called as dependent attributes, and the ones on which the others are dependent are called as independent attributes. We have different terminologies being used over there, but the concept is if this price is one of the attributes, title is another one, ISBN is another attribute. I can say that price depends on what is the title of the book and ISBN number. So these ISBN and title are actually independent, and whereas price is actually dependent. So we say that price is functionally dependent on ISBN and title. So functional dependency was depicted using a arrow. This is an important symbol. You have to use it. Now with this functional dependency, we have seen three examples over there. You can just go through them back again. I was telling you that phone number is dependent on the publication name and publication ID, or if publication ID is given, I can get to know what is the name of the publication as well as what it is. Similarly, if author ID is given, it can be used for getting to know what is the name of the author and what is the phone number. For example, student number is given. I can get to know what is the student name as well as what are the marks of the student. So I kept one scenario over here just to, this is a scenario, some concept telling what is functional dependency as one more example. Usually what will happen is you will just be given that there is some circumstances, there are certain issues, there are certain authors, there will be certain concepts given to you. From that, you need to derive this type of functional dependency concept. You need to have a notational format given. So for that reason, I kept this particular slide, these two slides, you go through them. For second normal form states that those attributes which are not part of a primary key, those are called as non-key attributes. Those attributes which are non-key attributes depend should be functionally dependent on entire primary key, not just part of the second normal form says that the non-key attributes, the ones which are not a part of your primary key, should functionally depend on entire primary key. This is the important point to be noted, entire primary key. If it is just depending on one single part of the primary key, then it is not in second normal form. So for that reason, we have seen certain schemas here. The first one being the title, publication ID, author ID, price, and author address. And the primary key that was given to us was title, publication ID, and author ID. And we have seen that author address being a non-key attribute is dependent only on the author ID. So the author ID is not the entire primary key, it is one of the columns in the primary key. That's why this particular schema is not in second normal form. We have to decompose it. Decomposing it means we have to generate two new tables out of it. So we'll just see that example in here. So what we did in this decomposition was this address was now dependent on the entire primary key, right? So we took it out as a new table, author address. On what it was dependent on author ID. We copied the author ID column back into the new table. So originally what is left out? Title, publication ID, author ID, and price. These four columns are left out. Do remember we are removing author address, but we are just copying the author ID. We are not removing it from the original table. We are removing the author address which was not dependent on the entire primary key, but we cannot remove the author ID from the original table because if we remove, it was just a part of your primary key. We cannot remove the part of the primary keys from the original table. Like that, we have seen two more examples. You can go through them. So till here, this was the part and parcel of your previous class. Is there any doubt in that particular part? Anyone? I'm going to start the third normal form. Is there any doubt till the second normal form? No. You have understood. Okay, fine. Since there are no queries coming up, I can assume that you have understood this particular concept clearly. Coming next for the third normal form says that all non-key attributes of the table must be functionally dependent on candidate key. For example, non-key attributes are those which are not a part of your primary key. Suppose they are completely dependent on the primary key. Now, out of those non-key attributes, there may be some attributes which were a candidate key, which were a competitor for becoming a primary key, candidate keys. Now, if they are there, suppose non-key attributes are there and candidate keys are there, then non-key attributes should depend on candidate keys also. Just like how they were dependent on the primary key in the second normal form, similarly, non-key attributes should also depend on the candidate keys. So for that purpose, what we have to see is there should not be any interdependency among non-key attributes. One non-key attribute depending on another non-key attribute. This should not happen. They should depend either entirely on the primary key or they should depend on the alternate keys or candidate keys. Now, there are two things that should be there for your third normal form to be there. This definition which we have seen appears little complex, right? But it is very easy if you try to see one simple thing. I hope you can remember the transitive property of mathematics. Can I get that pen? Can anyone remind me what was the transitive property of in mathematics? There was one property called as A gives B. B gives C. Therefore, we concluded that A gives C. Can you remember this property? How many of you remember it? Or am I correct? Right? So if we recollect back, I'm telling that A gives B, B gives C, thereby A gives C. This symbol, isn't it not looking like a function dependency arrow symbol, right? So if there is any attribute A, if it is dependent on B and B is dependent on C, then I can say that attribute A is dependent on attribute C, right? But third normal form says that this type of nature should not exist. If it is existing, then our table is not there in third normal form. Okay? No attribute is transitively dependent on the primary key. That means, suppose there is one non-key attribute, it is depending on another attribute. That attribute is dependent on the primary key. Can I say that this attribute A, which was not directly dependent on primary key, is not dependent on the primary key? No. This transitive property is not, should not be there for our database. Either this attribute A, which is a non-key attribute, should directly depend on the primary key attribute, or it should not depend on any other intermediary attributes. Is it fine? For example, I have kept here one schema. In this schema, the title, publication ID, page count, and price are the attributes. The key that is given for us is title and publication ID. Now, Now, since the title, publication ID, page count, and price are the attributes, and the key that is given is title, publication ID, let us see what are the non-key attributes, page count, and price. Now, if we have a look, page count, I can see if the number of pages in the book is more, the price will be more because that comes as the raw materials cost, isn't it? But is only the number of pages important or the title of the book? Title gives the content of the book, right? The title of the book and publication. Suppose if it is very good publication, they will be keeping the price very high. So if these two things are there, price also depends on these two. So I'm telling that the publication ID and title determines the number of pages also. For example, if the book is for a very very vast topic, it will contain huge number of pages. If it is for a specific very very dedicated topic, it may contain very less number of pages. For example, if I am making a book for a C language, it will contain a lots of pages when compared to if I am making a book only for the new operator. Clear? So title and publication ID determines what is the page count, and page count determines what is the price. So can I say title and publication ID determines price? Yes, it may be case due to transitive property. But if the transitive property is existing, will this particular schema be there in third normal form? No. If the transitive property is existing, that means my certain attributes are indirectly dependent on primary key, which should not be there. So there should not be any transitive property in between them. To decompose it, what we'll do is what was transitively dependent? Page count and price were transitively dependent. So we'll take out these two. This price was dependent on page count. Page count and title were being dependent on this publication ID. Right? Publication ID, title were determining page count. Page count was determining price. Now, price was indirectly dependent, right? So I've taken out price. It was dependent on what? Page count. I copied it back over here. But page count was being dependent on what? Publication ID. So I just copied publication ID also here. So price, page count and publication ID becomes my new table. What will be the remaining ones? Title and publication ID, page count. These were a part of uh, one single A gives B concept. So we kept it as it is. Okay, just for a review, I'm going back for the example. We were having a particular schema given over here called as title, publication ID, page count and price. Now we were telling that title in publication ID gives page count gives price. So what was indirectly dependent? Price was dependent on page count was dependent on title in publication ID. So what we did, we removed price from the original schema. And kept it as a new table. Now, along with this price was dependent on what? Page count. So we copied page count back into the new table. These two are clear, price and page count. Now, how come this publication ID came into picture? Now, imagine, actually, these publications says that they have certain criteria. They have certain limitations of number of pages for each book. They will say that if a book is to be published, it should be of 200 pages or so and so for having so much price. These publication agencies, they will be keeping a fixed rate for a fixed number of pages. So that's why the page count depends on what is the publication ID. That is the reason why in the new schema that we generated, along with the page count and price, we also copied the publication ID. Now, if from the original one, I removed only the price, right? What is remaining? These three. So we'll have these three back in the original one, whereas publication ID, page count and price in the new table. See the schema of the new table? From the original one, we removed price, kept it as in a new table. Price was dependent on page count, we copied back page count. Page count was dependent on publication ID. Certain publications will have certain restrictions. They should have, if a book is to be published, they say that that book should contain these many number of pages inside. So that publication ID, page count and price, these three will become a new schema. Whereas the original one was title, publication ID, page count. We only removed the price from the original, right? So these three will become another table, a remaining original table. Clear? So like that, this second example also. Let us see. This table is for the third example. Let us say there is one more schema with the schema given over here as studio city and city temperature. Now, city temperature if we have a look, it depends on what is the city in the studio, that is studio city. Is the city temperature dependent on the name of the studio? No, it is dependent on in which city the studio is present. Correct. So city temperature is determined using city studio city, but studio city will be determined using the studio name. So there is now transitive relationship. A gives B, B gives C. Can we conclude that A gives C now? Yes. But if we conclude it, there is transitive relationship coming in picture. That means this particular relationship, this particular schema is not in third normal form. We need to decompose it. How will decompose? This city temperature was dependent only on studio city. We'll remove this city temperature from here. Okay, and we'll create a new table for it. Let's see the decomposition. Okay, we removed the city temperature, we kept it in the new schema. Now city temperature was dependent on studio city, so we copied that studio city here. Was originally left out now? Studio name and studio city. Do remember, we are removing city temperature, but we are just copying the studio city. We are not removing it. Similarly, another example is also there. You can go through it. Plus, I have not read out what are the points to be followed for making the decomposition. But whatever I have told, those are the right things. So now coming on for Boyce Codd normal form. Boyce Codd normal form is an enhancement of the third normal form. First of all, is the third normal form clear for everyone? Is there any doubt in this third normal form? Okay, thank you, Ravikeshu. Thank you. Yes, Pujita. Thank you. Anyone is having any doubt in the third normal form? Lavanya, thank you. No one? Okay. In case of BCNF, it is a slight modification. What do you need, Neha? Mm, Okay. Anyway, I'm recording this particular session so you can view it back in the YouTube. Is it okay, Neha? Okay, fine. So we'll get back to that one again. I'll revise it. Don't worry, Neha. If possible, I'll repeat that concept for third normal form. Okay. Now, for this Boyce Codd normal form, Boyce Codd has actually not done much in that. It has just made a slight modification. This slight modification is that in the earlier case, the concept was non-key attributes, candidate keys, and primary keys, right? And we were thinking that there should not be any transitive dependency upon them. But we did not actually look into what are the candidate keys in that one, in third normal form. Boyce Codd normal form goes for the candidate keys strictly. It says that if a table is having two or more candidate keys, then if those two candidate keys are composed such that there is one attribute among them which is common between them. For example, there are four attributes A, B, C, D. Okay. If there are four attributes A, B, C, D, And if I'm composing them in such a way that ABC is one candidate key, CD is another candidate key. The common column between them is C. So if there is any common column, then that particular common column should not be there. If there is any common column between the candidate keys in a particular relationship, in a particular relation, then that particular relation is not there in BCNF. Okay, clear? Let us see the example, then it will be more clear. For example, there is a schema given over here, there is a relation given over here that is composed of three attributes. One is city, street, and zip code. Zip code is just like our pin code. Now, they have given us two candidate keys. One is city and street, another is zip code and street. Now, when we have a look in this particular part, this street is becoming the common column. And we don't have any other non-key attribute. We have only these two as candidate keys. But if we have a look, there is a common column in between these two, right? That means this particular relation, this particular schema is not satisfying the Boyce Codd normal form. Now, how do we decompose it out? To decompose it, what we'll do is we'll remove that common column. If we remove that common column and keep it as a separate table in a separate schema, it should be attached with something either city or zip code, right? So what I will do is it's my choice whether to attach this one or that one. Zip code, it will be unique for each city, right? So I'll attach that zip code for this street. So that becomes a new table for me. What are the remaining? Anyway, I removed this street from the original. So what is now left out for me? Zip code and city. I can have zip code and city. But if I have only zip code and city here, it will give me the problem that I will not be having any relationship what was there for this street. So as I have mentioned here, the choice street and zip code added here, city and zip code. This is a possibility. It's our choice. But this one is more appropriate. The first option is more appropriate. Why I'm saying it is more appropriate is because in both the cases, it is giving me what is the street along with the zip code, what is the street along with the city. Do remember, zip code is given for a particular city. City is determined using the zip codes. It's not pin code. It is as per the US standards. In US, for each city, there will be one single zip code. Okay. So we have this option also, as we were originally discussing. Street was removed from the original table, kept in the new table. Along with this street, I can either go with the zip code or city to be attached. So suppose if I am attaching zip code, what is left out in the original table? I removed only the street. So what is left out? City and zip code. That becomes the second schema. Is it clear? Boyce Codd normal form. Within 5 minutes, the class is going to end. Let us see the second example also, so that it will be more clear for everyone. I have been given over here one schema: movie title, movie ID, person name, role, and payment. Now they have given us that there are two candidate keys listed over here: movie title, person name, movie ID, and person name. These two are becoming the candidate keys. We can clearly see that there is one common column in between. Now with that common column coming in between for candidate keys, I can clearly say that it is not satisfying the Boyce Codd normal form. To decompose it to satisfy the Boyce Codd normal form, what we'll do, Yes, role payment. This was the original one, right? Person name was dependent on movie. This was becoming the common column. I removed it and placed it in the new table. Now I was having movie ID and title. Both were there as the alternate case, right? If we have a look at the back. What was there as the candidate case? These two, movie title and ID. I can take any one of them in the new table. So what I'm taking in the new table, I'm taking the person name, which was the common column, and movie title. So person name is removed. What are the remaining ones? Movie ID, role, and payment. So these three will become the remaining original table, original schema. So out of first schema, old schema, we are generating two new schemas here. Similarly, if we have a look back again, here, if I look at first new schema, movie ID is given, name of the person is given, role is given, and payment is given. But what is the title of this movie? Is it being mentioned? No. If I look here, the title of the movie is given, the person name is given, but what is the idea of the movie? That is missing. So for those relationships to come in picture, what we'll do is we'll add movie ID is here itself. Instead of person name coming again being saved here, already it is being saved here, right? I'm just going to remove this with movie ID. Replace it with movie ID. Okay. So that was it for BCNF. Is there any other doubt? Fourth normal form, fifth normal form I have kept for your reference. Go through them. You can easily understand what it is speaking, but I can clearly say that it is not required as of this age. Many of the companies they don't even go for fourth normal form. Okay. Till BCNF, is there any doubt? No, right? So I think within 2-3 minutes the session will expire, and immediately after that I'm going to start the second session. I'm going to post the link now. We'll quickly join back. About IT, once this first unit is over, we'll go for the IT subject. Karthik, are you there?